Your favorite Naruto character is overrated. While a big selling point for the Naruto franchise is the characters that reside in the story, there are a few characters that I feel get gassed up to a degree I feel isn't warranted. Not to say that they are bad characters, as I enjoy a majority of the Naruto cast, these characters in particular are given so much treatment in my eyes, when in reality, they're far from perfect in the grand scheme of things. If you know me, you know that I personally don't care for Minato like that. I think he's overrated in the sense where the hype doesn't match well with his actions. Now let me clarify that Minato is no slouch and I do respect him as a ninja, but my issue can more so pivot to people who gas him up to a higher degree than normal, from both characters in the verse and real life fans of the show. It was since day one of the show that people ranked him as the best shinobi in the Leaf Village has ever seen, from Naruto, Jiraiya, even the third Hokage, who was trained by the actual best Hokage at the time, being the first Hokage. I bring him up because while it may not have been the intention of the author, we soon figure out that in the later half in the Naruto story that Hashirama is the main force to be reckoned with. Hailed as the goddess shinobi and the only ninja to best the legendary Madara Uchiha. I have no problem with Minato being weaker than Hashirama, mind you, but based on early writing of the story, you get the impression that Minato is the best Hokage. Hints such as when Orochimaru was attacking the village and was reviving the previous Hokage, Hiruzen wanted to make sure that the fourth's coffin specifically would be stopped as opposed to the other two he had to worry about. You also have the inconsistencies with writing for his character. Going back to the previous example, it wouldn't have made sense for him to be revived in the first place, since we later find out that he was actually sealing the Reaper Death Seal, making it impossible for Orochimaru to revive him. I bring this up because almost no one else I see mentions it when it comes to his character, seemingly sidelining his inconsistencies because he's considered a cool character. And don't get me wrong, I grew to appreciate his character more over the years. I actually voted for him in the Naruto poll that decided who the new one-shot manga was going to be about because he had so much potential. It's just that for me personally, I would need to see more of him to feel how y'all do about his character. I feel like there's going to be more pitchforks at me for putting Kakashi on the overrated character list, even in comparison to Minato, but hear me out. Kakashi is one of my favorite characters and used to be my number one some years back, but there are some things I've grown skeptical towards. The main things being his teaching for Team 7 and his claim as the copy ninja. Out of all the main Jonin teachers that we've come to know, I feel like he was the one that was most biased towards his students. In the earlier parts of the story, he prioritized training Sasuke until he left the village, sidelining back to Naruto in the later half of the story. And Sakura was pretty much neglected on Kakashi's end, as she was only able to reach the heights she had because of Tsunade. In fact, the trio only reached their full potential after training with the legendary signing, though it's arguable for Naruto since his 3-year training amounted to almost nothing. Regardless, I personally wouldn't pick Kakashi out of the main Konoha Jonin as my sensei. Now, as for his jutsu arsenal, being hailed as the master of 1,000 jutsu, to me, it's a false statement given how little we see him perform the variety of jutsu. Now, there is a variety, ranging from Lightning Blade, Rasengan, Mud Wall, etc. I just expected a lot more of him when it comes to knowing close to 1,000 jutsu, even if it was hyperbole. Now, you can argue that it would have been jutsu overload for us viewers to see, but my point is that you might as well not include that concept in general, aside from it sounding cool, if you weren't going to do anything about it. It also doesn't help that while Kakashi is known throughout the ninja world, being revered by many ninja from all types of villages, we never really got to see what they saw in action.
So there really is someone besides Itachi with those crazy eyes. You're Kakashi, aren't you? The copy ninja.
Kakashi the copy ninja. So that's your Sharingan, is it?
Hey boss, that guy, the one standing there on the right, it's Kakashi Hatake.
Come on, I know that much. The copy ninja Kakashi Hatake. I am honored to meet you.
Oh my god, bro, is riding all you do?
Maybe if we got a one-shot manga for him, it could help elevate his stature, but as for now, if people want to say that Kakashi is overrated, I can at least see where they're coming from. While I think you can still argue that Minato and Kakashi aren't overrated, I'm not going to agree with you if you think Shisui should be highly regarded. We know little to nothing about his character, feats, it's all conjecture. Even if we put him relative to Itachi in terms of strength, or even stronger than that, it's not going to help his case of being a well-respected character. We know he's best friends with Itachi, he apparently has amazing speed feats, wanted peace for the village, yada yada yada, but that's all we truly know about his character. That's why it's kind of funny to me that people argue that Shisui can stand toe to toe with some of the greats in Naruto when we haven't fully seen him in action, at least in peak form or in canon material. From what we are shown, he mirrors Itachi when it comes to being humble and not being overzealous about his strengths, but it would have been nice to see him more in general so we can get a full scope of his character just by himself. Why I deem him him overrated is because people highly regard him in the fandom. And while people are free to like a character however they may want to, even placing that person as their number one if desired, I tilt my head when we start playing the comparison game with other characters and people wanting to make an argument for Shisui. To each their own though. I will respect you either way once you hit that like button if you made it this far in the video. If you enjoy videos like this, be sure to subscribe for more content on a weekly basis. You won't regret it. Neji being on a list of overrated characters may come off as a bit harsh, but I have my reasons. While I did like how he was a stark contrast between Naruto and the Chunin exams, that's where his arc pretty much ends. Him changing his ways to rule out destiny being set in stone and knowing you can make a change within yourself. The issue comes in the form of something that's plagued a lot of Naruto characters going forward into Shippuden, in that he was relegated to the sidelines and was few and far between of him doing something noteworthy in the story. I know a lot of people, including myself, were disappointed that Lee wasn't used to his full potential, but I'm not gonna lie, I would have hated to be a Neji fan during Shippuden, especially by the end, where Neji was taken out of existence seemingly for no apparent reason, aside to have Hinata and Naruto's relationship become stronger. His death had no meaning and is regarded as one of the more let down moments of the show. I myself wasn't shocked that it even occurred, especially so randomly. I'd be cool with him dying if he had more of an impact in the story beforehand, but his demise felt unwarranted and probably left a bad taste in the mouth of Neji fans wanting something more for his character. Unfortunate for Neji, but it is what it is. While I personally don't have distaste for Hinata as a lot of y'all in the past few years, I can see why she can be considered an overrated character. I think the main thing that gave her the edge in people liking her more was her comparison to Sakura, both in which who would win in a fight as well as who would be the better companion to Naruto. And while I'm definitely on the side of Hinata faring better with Naruto, that's pretty much all she's known for. She had her fight with Neji in the Chunin exams, and while she did lose, it still helped her case in wanting to become a better ninja, sparking her own ninja way because of Naruto. And like many characters going forward, she was relegated to the sidelines and was only partially useful in the pain arc by almost dying in front of Naruto, which led him to awakening his Nine Tails powers. After that, she comforted Naruto in the war arc, then had children with each other, making her a stay-at-home wife. And while there isn't anything wrong with being a stay-at-home wife, in the context of a show where ninjas run about, going on crazy missions, doing cool spectacles, her current lifestyle in the Boruto era is uninteresting to say the least. Like I said, I have no real angst against Hinata, I think she's fine enough as a character, but people in the community are gassing her up to an insane degree, at least prior to recent years, which is why I put her in the overrated list to begin with. At the end of the day, these characters have their own stories that either resonate with us or not. We make the distinction for ourselves personally, which is why I consider the ones I listed to be overrated, at least to a certain extent. And like I said earlier, this isn't a list of the worst characters, as I actually favor characters like Kakashi in high regard, but I can still pinpoint their flaws to show them in an objective point of view, leaving me to the conclusion that a decent amount of characters in Naruto can be considered overrated. Which brings me to my next question. Who do you think is the most overrated character in the Naruto series? Is it any of the ones I just mentioned, or do you have some others in mind? I'd love to get y'all's thoughts, so let me know in the comment section below. And if you want to see more videos like this, click the card you see here, which will take you to my video specifically why I detail Minato as an overrated character, a collab video I did with a fellow YouTuber, King of Chaos. I'm the Curly Haired Hokage, and I hope you all have an amazing and blessed day. Peace.